Welcome to iRise online classes. The last session we discussed the rules that appear in the topic articles. This session will go for an exercise on the same topic. We'll try solving the questions based on the meaning of the sentence and based on the rules that we discussed in the last session. We'll go for some fill in the blank questions first, then we'll move on to something on spotting the error and sentence improvement. Right. Understand the meaning of every sentence. Right. Dash apple fell from dash tree. Now in this sentence, we are not referring to any specific apple. I told you how a noun becomes specific and how a noun becomes general. When there is some information given regarding a noun in a sentence, that noun is taken as specific. When there is no information given regarding a noun, that noun is taken as general. This is how to identify whether a noun in a sentence is general or specific. Dash apple fell from dash tree. In this sentence, we are not referring to any specific apple, so it cannot be the apple. A apple is a wrong usage, as you know. It must be an apple fell from dash tree. As we are not referring to any specific apple here, we cannot refer to a specific tree as well. So an apple fell from a tree. Come to the second question. Dash Ganga is dash sacred river. Now Ganga in the sense, the river Ganga. I told you with unique entities, it's always the. Like the sun, the moon, the earth, the Ramayanam, the Mahabharatam, the Bible, the Arabian Sea, the Pacific Ocean. We're referring to a specific river here, unique entity, so it must be the Ganga. The Ganga is dash sacred river. Now river is a noun, right? If I ask you what kind of river, the answer is sacred river. That means the word sacred describes river. River is a noun. Any word that describes a noun is called an adjective. So sacred becomes an adjective. And sacred is a positive degree adjective. The comparative degree is most sacred and the superlative degree is most sacred. Sacred is a positive degree adjective. Now as we discussed, we don't use the with a positive degree adjective, so it cannot be the. And sacred is a wrong usage. Sacred, the first sound is s, like a sister, a sin, etc. A secular state and all. So it cannot be an. In this case, it must be a sacred river. The Ganga is a sacred river. From this statement, are there other sacred rivers? Yes, other sacred rivers are there. That's why we said the Ganga is a sacred river. If I say the Ganga is the only sacred river, that means there is no other sacred river. If you want to go for this sentence in the superlative degree form, you should frame this way. The Ganga is the most sacred river. The Ganga is the most sacred river, superlative degree. The same idea in the comparative degree form becomes the Ganga is more sacred than any other river. The Ganga is the most sacred river, is the same as the Ganga is more sacred than any other river. Dash Italian came to see me dash our ego. We are not referring to any specific Italian here. Many Italians can come to see me. If the name of the Italian is mentioned, that means we are referring to a very specific Italian. The name of the Italian is not mentioned, so we are not referring to a specific Italian, so it cannot be the. Italian, I is a vowel letter, forget about it. This word is pronounced as Italian, the first sound is E. As I told you, if a word begins with the sound R, O, A or E, it must be an. If a word begins with the sound Ya or U, it must be a. Italian, the first sound is E, so it must be an. An Italian came to see me dash our ego. The or ego is a wrong usage, right? So we cannot be very specific actually. It must be a or an. H-O-U-R. H is silent. This word is not pronounced as hour, it is just pronounced as R. H-O-U-R is pronounced as R. The first sound is R, so it must be an R ego. An Italian came to see me, an R ego. Come to the next one. Dash French defeated dash Germans. Now I told you, We have discussed long back also, I guess. We have gone for this, we went for this concept long back, I guess. The language of England is English. The people of England are called the English. The language of Poland is Polish. The people of Poland are called the Polish. The language of Spain is Spanish. The people of Spain are called the Spanish. If you add the in front of the language, it becomes a people. Now in this sentence, understand the meaning. Dash French defeated dash Germans. In this sentence, are we talking about the language French or the people of France? In this sentence, we are not talking about the language French, because the language French cannot defeat. So we are talking about the people of France, and the people of France in the sense the French. French is the language of France. The French means the people of France. I told you, if you add the in front of the language, it becomes a people. So the French defeated the Germans. The Indians. The French defeated the Germans. The next one. He is dash honest. Fill in the blanks with a, an, or the, or if no article is required, we should not go for any article. He is dash honest. This blank must be filled with an article. I told you, after every article there must be a noun. A and an are used with singular countable nouns. The is used with singular countable nouns, plural countable nouns, and uncountable nouns. So after every article there must be a noun. The article must come in this blank. Do we have a noun after the blank? No. Honest is an adjective. We don't have a noun after the blank. That means there's no noun after the article. After every article there must be a noun. So we cannot go for any article in this statement. There's no article required. He is honest is completely fine. He is sincere, he is handsome, he is good, he is intelligent, he is brilliant, he is awesome and all. So he is honest, there's no article required in this statement. The next one. Dash pen is mightier than dash sword. You should not question me on this, in fact, because this is a proverb. A proverb, an idiom, and a phrase cannot be questioned. Rules are not applicable on a proverb, an idiom, and a phrase, because these are what are inherent in the language. If you don't know the proverb, nothing can be done. Now the correct proverb must be, you should know the proverb. The correct proverb must be, the pen is mightier than the sword. The pen is mightier than the sword. Don't ask me why. If you want to tell the meaning of it. The pen is mightier than the sword means we can kill a person using a pen. Not killing doesn't mean literally killing. We can kill a person using a pen than instead of using a sword. That is what the newspapers do. They'll take a person to that level and they just drop him. That's why even the politicians are afraid of the media. They can kill the image of a person, they can create the image of a person. The pen refers to a person who is literate, knowledgeable. The sword refers to a person who is physically built. So one who is knowledgeable is more powerful than one who is physically built. That is the meaning of this statement. The pen is mightier than the sword. The next one. Dash and is dash insect. Now here, and is wrong. And first sound is a, right? And. Now here, an and is a correct usage. The and is also correct usage. In fact, both are accepted, right? Both are accepted. Dash and is dash insect. There are many insects. There are many insects, right? Among the insects, one insect is ant. That's the meaning. So it cannot be the insect. It must be an insect. Now, an insect or a insect? Insect, the first sound is E. Insect, the first sound is E. So it must be an insect. The ant is an insect is grammatically correct. An ant is an insect is also grammatically correct. Now, we can go for both actually. We are referring to a specific insect here actually. The specific insect, because the name of the insect is mentioned, that is ant. The insect is called ant. So in this case, we can go for the elephant is a big animal. Fine. The ant is an insect. An ant is an insect is also correct. But as we're referring to one specific insect called ant, it must be the ant. Both are, in fact, both are accepted. So the ant is an insect. There is dash great deal of water in dash pond. There is dash great deal of water. Great is an adjective and it is a positive degree adjective. Now, greater is a comparative degree adjective. Greatest is a superlative degree adjective. Great is a positive degree adjective. So we don't use the with a positive degree adjective. And great is anyway wrong. He is a great person. So there is a great deal of water in dash pond. Understand the meaning. If we are talking about a great deal of water, it must be in a particular pond. We cannot talk about a great deal of water in any pond. It does not make sense. If I say there's a pond in front of my house, then I talk about a great deal of water in that pond. So if we're talking about a great deal of water, that great deal of water must be in a particular pond. So there is a great deal of water in the pond. Right? We're talking about a great deal of water in a particular pond. Only then the sentence makes sense. There's a great deal of water in the pond. Dash elephant is dash big animal. I said an elephant. Now come to second blank. Is dash big animal. Animal is a noun, so big becomes an adjective, right? Big is an adjective, positive degree adjective. Bigger is comparative, biggest is superlative. We don't use the with a positive degree adjective, so it must be a big animal. Now here, an elephant is a big animal is correct. The elephant is a big animal is also correct. But as we're referring to one specific animal called elephant, we can go for the elephant is a big animal. The elephant is a big animal. From this sentence, are there other big animals? Yes. The elephant is a big animal means there are other big animals. If I say the elephant is the only big animal, that means there's no other big animal. If you want to frame it in the superlative degree form, the elephant is the biggest animal. The elephant is the biggest animal, that is superlative degree. The same idea in the comparative degree becomes the elephant is bigger than, bigger is a comparative degree adjective. The elephant is bigger than any other animal. Any other animals is a wrong usage. The elephant is bigger than any other animal. She saw dash ugly boy riding on dash s. She saw dash ugly boy. Boy is a noun, so ugly becomes an adjective. What kind of boy? Ugly boy. So word ugly describes boy, which is a noun. Any word that describes a noun is called an adjective. So ugly becomes an adjective. Positive degree adjective. We don't use the with a positive degree adjective, so it must be a or an. U is a vowel letter. Forget about it. This word is pronounced as ugly. Ugly, the first sound is a, so we cannot use an, we cannot use a, we have to use an. She saw an ugly boy riding on dash s. Now here I saw him riding on the bike. I saw him riding a bike, or I saw him riding the bike. I saw him riding a bike. I saw him driving a car, etc. So she saw an ugly boy riding on an s. As the first sound is a. So as the first sound is a, it's like ya in fact. It's like diphthong. Diphthong is a combination of two sounds, right? A, O, E. A is a combination of A and E. O is a combination of O and E, etc. So she saw an ugly boy riding on an S. Our sound comes here, so an S. Dash rich should help dash helpless. Now, the poor means the people who are poor. Poor is an adjective. If you add the in front of it, it becomes a noun, referring to the people who are poor. The brave means the people who are brave. The young means the people who are young. The aged means the people who are aged. So in this sentence, we are talking about people. Because the people who are rich should help the people who are helpless. That's the meaning. Understand the meaning? The people who are rich must help the people who are helpless. The meaning of the statement. So to make it people, we have to add the in front of it. The rich should help the helpless. The rich means the people who are rich. The helpless means the people who are helpless. So the rich should help the helpless means the people who are rich should help the people who are helpless. That's the meaning of this sentence. Come to the next one. This is also a proverb. The rules are not applicable. Dash stitch in time saves 9. We are not referring to any particular stitch here. There's no information given regarding the noun stitch here, so it cannot be taken as specific anyway. But rules are, and moreover, rules are not applicable on a proverb. It must be a stitch in time saves 9. You know the meaning of it? A stitch in time saves 9 means whatever you have to do at one particular point of time, you have to complete that work at that point of time itself. If you keep postponing it, it piles up. Then will be a headache for us, right? A burden for us. For a stitch in time saves 9. There is my shirt got torn, right? A bit. If I stitch it now itself, one stitch is enough to get rid of it. If I wait for some time, again the gap becomes bigger. The gap becomes bigger in size. And if once the gap becomes bigger in size, instead of one stitch, I have to go for 9 stitches to get rid of it. So a stitch in time saves 9. It means whatever we have to do at one specific point of time, we have to do at that time itself. If we keep postponing it, it piles up, it will be a burden for us. A stitch in time saves 9. Dash 10th chapter of dash book of the book is dash very interesting. Dash 10th chapter, are we referring to any specific chapter here? Yes. The second prize, specific prize. The first prize, specific prize. The third prize, specific prize. The first 2 chapters, specific chapters. So 10th chapter in the sense we're referring to a specific chapter, so it must be the 10th chapter. Then, chapter is a noun. In this sentence, we have some information given regarding the noun chapter, which is that, what is that? Of the book. The 10th chapter of the book. So of the book is information given regarding the noun chapter. So in this case, anyway, the noun chapter must be taken as specific, and specific means it is the. So the 10th chapter is correct. Now, the 10th chapter of a book or the book. If you are referring to us, I told you while discussing the rules, I told you this. If you're talking about a specific chapter, that specific chapter must belong to a specific book. We cannot talk about a specific chapter belonging to any book. Does not make sense. Specific teachers, specific school, specific students, specific classroom, specific members, specific council, etc. So as we're talking about a specific chapter, that specific chapter must belong to a specific book. So the 10th chapter of the book is dash very interesting. This blank must be filled with a verb. Now, do we have must be filled with an article? After every article there must be a noun. Do we have a noun after the article? No. Very is not a noun. Interesting is also not a noun. So in this blank we cannot go for an article. There's no article required here. The 10th chapter of the book is very interesting. No article required. What is interesting? The 10th chapter is interesting. That's the meaning. The 10th chapter is interesting. So the word interesting describes the 10th chapter. Chapter is a noun. Any word that describes a noun is called an adjective. So interesting becomes an adjective. Interesting chapter. Chapter is a noun. Interesting becomes an adjective. How interesting? Very interesting. So the word very describes interesting. Interesting is an adjective. Any word that describes an adjective is termed as an adverb. So very becomes an adverb. We have gone for parts of speech in detail. Getting it? The next one. It is dash proudest moment of my life. Proudest is a superlative degree adjective. ST word. Proud is a positive degree adjective. Prouder is a comparative degree adjective. Proudest is a superlative degree adjective. In front of a superlative degree adjective, which article? The. Superlative means we're referring to a specific level. As we're referring to a specific level, in front of a superlative degree adjective, it must be the. So it is the proudest moment of my life. It is the proudest moment of my life. Moment is a noun because after an article comes a noun. Proudest is anyway an adjective, and to a superlative degree. Dash MLA represents dash constituency. Dash MLA represents dash constituency. In this sentence, are we referring to any specific MLA? No. Now, if you are referring to a specific MLA, the name of the MLA will be mentioned, or the name of the constituency that particular MLA represents will be mentioned. If the name of the constituency is mentioned, that means we are referring to a specific MLA. Or if the name of the MLA is mentioned, the same thing, we are referring to a specific MLA. Here the name of the MLA is not mentioned. The name of the constituency this MLA represents is also not mentioned. That means in this sentence we are not referring to a specific MLA, so we cannot use the. Now, a or an. M is a consonant letter, forget about it. This word is pronounced as MLA. MLA, the first sound is A, and if the first sound is A, we have to go for an. So an MLA represents dash constituency. Now, we're not referring to any specific constituency here. If we're referring to a specific MLA, that means we must be referring to a specific constituency. It cannot be the constituency. If it is, as it is not a specific MLA, it cannot be a specific constituency, and constituency is wrong usage, so it must be a constituency, and this is a general statement. Every MLA represents a constituency. So an MLA represents a constituency. Come to next. Dash children recited dash poem. Poem is pronounced as poem. Dash children recited dash poem in dash honor of dash prime minister. Dash children recited dash poem. We are talking about the specific children who recited a poem in the honor of the prime minister. So it must be the children. The children recited dash poem. Now there are many poems in the honor of the prime minister. Right? There are many poems in the honor of the prime minister. We don't know exactly which poem the children recited, so it cannot be specific. The children recited a poem in dash honor of dash prime minister. It must be a prime minister, the prime minister. It must be the prime minister, very unique. Right? Only one prime minister, very specific. So it must be the prime minister, undoubtedly. Now, the children recited a poem in dash honor of the prime minister. Honor is a noun. In this sentence, do we have some information given regarding the noun honor? Yes, what is it? Of the prime minister. Honor of the prime minister. So of the prime minister is the information given regarding the noun honor. So in this case, a noun honor must be taken as specific. So the children recited a poem in the honor of the prime minister. If you find any difficulty in filling a blank with an article, you just leave the blank and come to the rest of the sentence. From the rest of the sentence, we had a clue to fill the blank with an article. You can get to know which article must be used. Eggs are sold by dash dozen. Dozen is a noun, singular countable noun, and before a singular countable noun, as you know, there will be a, an or the depending on the usage. We're not referring to any specific dozen here, so it cannot be an dozen. Dozen, the first sound is d, so it cannot be the dozen. We're not referring to any specific dozen here, so it cannot be the dozen. Now we're left with a and an. I told you if you find any difficulty with any word, you go for a parallel word. Dozen, the first sound is d. Dog, the first sound is d. Doll, the first sound is d. A dog or an dog. It is a dog, a doll, so it must be a dozen. Eggs are sold by a dozen. The next one. Dash gold is dash precious metal. Gold is a name of a metal, proper noun, no article, so it is just gold. Gold is dash precious metal. Metal is a noun, precious becomes an adjective, and precious is a positive degree adjective. We don't use the with a positive degree adjective, and precious is a wrong usage. It must be a precious metal. Gold is a precious metal means there are other precious metals. Gold is the most precious metal means superlative degree form. Gold is more precious than any other metal is a comparative degree form. So gold is a precious metal. Dash death of dash great scientist causes dash great loss to dash country. Leave blank one. Now death is a noun. Death is a noun. Die is a verb. Die is V1, V2 is died, V3 is also died. Die, died, died. Death is a noun. Dead is an adjective. With any doubt, if I say go for any statement with dead, or some two words, dead body. Body is a noun, dead becomes an adjective. Dead cells. Cells is a noun, dead becomes an adjective. Right? So death is a noun. Leave the first blank, come to the second blank. Dash death of dash great scientist. Scientist is a noun. What kind of scientist? Great scientist. So word great describes scientist. Great becomes an adjective. Any word that describes a noun is called an adjective. And great is a positive degree adjective. Comparative is greater. Superlative is greatest. We don't use the with a positive degree adjective, so it must be a. Dash death of a great scientist. Now, death is a noun. Dash death of a great scientist. Death is a noun. In this sentence, is there any detail given regarding the noun death? Yes. What is that? Of a great scientist. Death of a great scientist means of a great scientist is information given regarding the noun death. So noun death must be taken as specific. So the death of a great scientist. If I say a death of a great scientist, that means a great scientist dies many times. A person dies only once. So it is very specific. The death of a great scientist causes dash great loss. Loss is a noun. Great is an adjective. Positive degree adjective. We don't use the with a positive degree adjective. So a great loss. The death of a great scientist causes a great loss to dash country. Now a great scientist means how many scientists? One scientist. A and an tell us that there is only one. A and an mean one. A girl means one girl. An umbrella means one umbrella. A and an means one. A and an mean one. A means one, an also means one. A great scientist means how many great scientists? One great scientist. If it is only one person, he must belong to a particular country. And the loss, when that great scientist dies, the loss will be for that particular country. Country means singular. So one great scientist, one person belongs to one country. So when that great scientist dies, it will be lost for that particular country. So to great loss to the country. The death of a great scientist caused a great loss to the country. Come next. His car struck dash tree. You can still see dash mark on dash tree. I told you I give us an example as well. In a sentence or a paragraph, the change always happens from general to specific. The change always happens from general to specific. That means it starts in a general way and moves on to specific. Right. His car struck dash tree. Now at the beginning, now we are not referring to any specific tree. His car hit a tree. His car hit a tree, understand? You can still see dash mark on dash tree. Are we referring to any specific mark here? Yes, the specific mark that was caused when his car hit a tree. So when his car hit a tree, one specific mark was caused. So in this sentence, we're talking about a specific mark. You can still see the mark. The information given regarding the mark is the mark caused, where the mark that happened or that appeared when his car hit a tree. Specific mark. You can still see the mark on dash tree. Now, here general. Now, are we referring to a specific tree or general tree? Any tree. In this sentence, now we are referring to a specific tree. The tree that his car hit. So that mark is there on that tree. And if you're referring to a specific mark, it must be on a specific tree. We cannot talk about a specific mark that is on any tree. Does not make sense. As we're referring to a specific mark, it must be on a specific tree. You can still see the mark on the tree. So his car struck a tree. You can still see the mark on the tree. Oh, sorry. You can still see the mark on the tree. Specific tree now. The specific tree that his car struck.